host spot because of Jamie Hayter versus Will Nightingale. Banger match. Love this match. I was really looking forward to it. To my to my recollection, I don't think these two have ever faced each other, at least in AEW. So this was really good. There was a little bit of uncertainty because I could have definitely seen either of them going over and advancing to the Wrestle Dynasty International Women's Cup as the AEW representative. Really could have seen it. Like with the ROH one, I mean, it was always going to be Athena. She's the champ. As long as they put her in there, yeah, she's going to be good. But this one, I have my doubts. Um, but yeah, these two just kicked the crap out of each other, chopped. Like there was a little like tete-a-tete going at the beginning, which I thought was nice. You know, it was somebody that Jamie Hayter couldn't overpower, which is nice. Like it was like okay, you've not seen this before. You know, even with her slimmed down physique, since she's come back, she's still been muscling her way and just beating the tar out of people. So like she's still the powerhouse wrestler, but she couldn't really muscle Willow around. Um, they go back and forth. The lights went out momentarily. Like it looked like it was like for 3 seconds, and it was enough to put some doubt in you because it was like the way that they played it off was great because Jamie Hayter looked confused, like legitimately confused. Like, was that supposed to happen or was that not? And then the way that Willow then took advantage of it because she's such a baby face. You don't expect her to take any like cheap ways out of anything. So the way that she just took advantage of the situation was like, was that planned or not? And did they just play it off? Like because they're such pros? Like because they know they need to keep the match going and they just improvised? I thought that was a really nice touch. Later on, we would see that that was a harbinger of something else. But um, no, it was great stuff. They just, like I said, they just kicked the crap out of each other. Really, really hard hitting stuff. Eventually, Hater looks for the Haterade, but Willow ducks. She hits the pounce. Looks to hit the babe with a power bomb, but Hater escapes. But a Uranagi into a backbreaker kind of that's a lot of weight to go down on one's knee. So, Hayter kind of ended up regretting the decision she made to reverse that into a kneeling backbreaker, or a knocking backbreaker. She goes for the Haterade again, but it's, that few extra seconds on the ground kind of, slapping life back into her knee was just enough for Willow to get up out of it and hit the babe with the power bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Couldn't be happier for Willow. She really deserves. I mean, she's been like Mrs. Forbidden Door this entire year. She won the TBS title. She won the CMLL title. Previous year she was the inaugural women's strong and New Japan Women's Strong champion. Uh, like she's really been like the ambassador for the Forbidden Door concept. So it's good to see her being put in the spot. And afterwards, we got an extra special treat when the lights went out again, and immediately there was Julia Hart, who drops Hayter with a hammerlock DDT and leaves her land. And then, it was so great to hear her, to see her back out on the ramp and have her song hit. Everybody sing along. The house always wins. Oh, it's so good to have Julia back. She was sorely missed. Um, uh, Okada versus the Beast Mortos is up next. I want to preface this by saying I really really liked the return at the top of the show of the little tiny promos, the 5 second, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat you and this is why, like that they used to have when Collision really first started out. I loved those. I thought it gave a different feel to it. It kind of got you hyped up for what you were gonna see. This one especially was great because it goes to Okada and he's like the Beast Mortos. like questioning, and then it goes to Mortos, and he's like, "Argh!" And then it goes back to Okada. He's like, more like the bitch Mortos, and then Okada, and then it goes back to Mortos again, "Argh!" A bigger roar. It was just it's my exact brand of silly. I loved it so much. It got me really, really pumped for this match. And I gotta say, like Okada went out of his way to sell everything that Mortos threw at him. Like you can tell that the guys who work with Mortos want him to succeed and want him to go higher up the card if they can push him there because everybody is selling like crazy for the guy, even though Mortos is never winning like a single freaking match in this tournament. But like Okada, he got two tilt-a-whirl backbreakers and then that weird like um, inverted torture rack backbreaker in a row, and there was a point where it was like, oh man, it looks like we could have another upset. Like we've already had an upset on Okada in this tournament. Like they got me for a little bit. Like even put him in that pop up Samoan drop. I was like, there's no way he's getting Okada up there. Okada has hops, but not in that direction. Like, but eventually, Okada finishes out his 5 moves of doom, and he just but Mortos does pull an Undertaker like at the very end of the match. He gets hit with that gorgeous drop kick that Okada throws, and then Okada is all smiles and everything. And then Mortos just sits up, and Okada's like, "Oh no, you don't!" It hits him with a spinning lariat and then a proper rainmaker for the win. I just man, I love Okada. I love his version of Okada. I love the Beast Mortos. You gave me everything I wanted. Like I can't complain about that. Um, Tony Storm had a very short match against Shazza McKenzie. It was longer than her match on Rampage against whoever it was that she beat on Rampage. I can't even remember who it was, but it doesn't matter. But she gets the win with the Storm Zero, and Nigel's funny on commentary. He's not even referring to it as her finish. Oh, that's Mariah May's finish. She's winning with Mariah May's finisher. Uh, but she gets on the mic afterwards, and everything becomes clear about the direction of her character because she's doing one of two things. She's either A, so traumatized by Mariah May beating her that she's regressed into an amnesiac state to the point where she doesn't realize that she's gone back 2 years and become her old self because she said, "Oh, I'm all elite," as if she just got signed.
Yeah.
And she's doing like all the things that she was doing in that initial run. Or which, and this is what I think is more likely. She's timeless, but she's playing the role of her old self to get under Mina's skin and force her to give her a rematch. Like I don't know if the end goal is to trick her into thinking that she is an amnesiac and giving Mariah May the unquenchable thirst for screwing her over a second time just because she's so evil. She wouldn't be able to resist it, or if if you watch the movie uh, All About Eve, the end, the usurper of the original Starlet's role eventually is blind to the fact that she's now picked up her own usurper at the very end. Her manager sees it and doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to deal with the bitch anymore. But he's at the end of that movie, that's what happens. I'm wondering if maybe they go all the way with it and the usurper is now Tony Storm to come full circle with it. And Mariah May falls for the amnesiac bit eventually. And then, maybe they play it in reverse, but everybody knows that Tony's going to get her comeuppance or Tony's going to get her revenge. I don't know. They've got until what, mid-February to end this, essentially.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
we'll see if I mean I'm looking forward to it either way. Later on, she'll go and interrupt a backstage interview with Thunder Rosa, where she sets up a World's End title match with Rosa and May in a Tijuana street fight. Uh, they're not in Tijuana, so I don't know why they're doing that. But um, point being that she Tony interrupts and introduces herself to Thunder Rosa as if they never even tag teamed as Thunderstorm before. Like, oh man, I'm such a big fan of this, that, the other. I'm sorry to interrupt. Later, she would go on to tape a vignette for online where in the background randomly is Mark Briscoe. Oh my God, it's Mark Briscoe. Oh man, this is such a great place. And Briscoe just kind of looks around like, what is going on? Like everything surrounding this is exactly to my taste. It may not be to everybody's, and I understand that. But to me, this is the crap that I love. And I am so enjoying this new turn, this new avenue for her creativity because it's clearly been there the entire time. And it just had been untapped until about a year ago. So wherever Tony takes it, I'm in for the ride. In for a penny, in for a pound, right? Uh, so yeah, there wasn't really a lot of stuff that I didn't like on this show. Honestly, I think if I had to give it to anything, it would be as with a caveat. Like they had Chris Statlander squash whoever 2D Lynn is.
Mhm.
Um, but the match got like maybe a minute and a half. But even that, like, it, it was still three women's matches on the show. Like, I don't think any other show this week had three women's matches on it. So, I mean, even if two of them were kind of squash matches, it's good to see them putting that focus in there. Like, I'm struggling to find something that I didn't really like on this show, quite frankly. Collision continues to deliver. Like, they had a great 10-man, match. I guess if I do have one, okay, I do have one thing. There are certain competitors in the Continental Classic that are only having to face each to only having to wrestle Continental Classic matches, and then there are others who are being put in other matches, and it's not fair to those people. Not fair to the Beast Mortos, who last week had a random Rampage squash match where he finally picked up a win over
Mhm.
Aaron Solo, but like it wasn't in the tournament. It's an extra match he had to do. Daniel Garcia and was in this match, and Commander were both in this 10-man tag, which was really fun. It was super fun, and the crowd was really, really into everything that they
Mhm.
did. But like, that's not fair to Commander. That's not fair to Daniel Garcia. Where are Okada's extra matches? Where are Shelton Benjamin's extra matches? Where are Kyle Fletcher's extra matches? You know, like the inconsistent. It's like they're drawing a very clear line. It's like, okay, you guys are the bottom tier of this tournament, so we're going to make you wrestle extra because you're not in the upper tier.
Mhm.
Like that's what it's saying without saying it.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially to do that to one of your champions, and Daniel Garcia is kind of, mm, I don't really like it. Claudio's not having to face anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the whole Death Riders thing going on. So if anybody would be in everybody else's business, it would be him. But I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing Orange Cassidy. I love seeing the Outrunners. I love seeing MXM Collection, and even to a degree, the Premier Athletes. I like Tony Nese, but like this match was for the crowd, and they loved it, and I will never take that away from that. Though you got to get the live crowd. The live
Mhm.
crowd will influence the watching audience, but there was no real need for this match, and you could take two of those guys out. You could take Daniel Garcia and Commander out and switch them with two other guys who haven't been on TV, and it still would have worked.
Mm.
You could put them with other members of the conglomeration. You could have put FTR in there. Like you could, I don't know. To me that I guess if there was a thing that bugged me, it was that it's like there's some people in this Continental Classic tournament who are getting better treatment storyline wise by not having to have these extra matches. You
Yeah.
know, uh, main event was a banger, another banger, and out of the blue too. I did not expect Mark Briscoe to actually beat Kyle Fletcher. With the way that they were building Fletcher's momentum, it really, really looked like they were going to have him run the table. He beat
Mm.
Okada. He
Yeah.
beat the champion. Like I really, I don't. And these guys again beat the crap out of each other. Fletcher had a great moment towards the beginning of the match where the crowd was chanting, like they did last week. Osprey's better, and he rolled to the outside to jack jaws with the fans. Give him a moment.
Mm.
Like he's 25, and he's already got those little things. That's wisdom in performance, way beyond his years. You
Yeah.
know, that's something you get as a 30-year-old. Oh, I need to, if the fans want to have this interaction, I got to give it to them. I want to give
Mm.
it to them. Like this, I don't know if it's because of innate talent or if it's that in combination with Don Callis's influence, who's been around the ring for 30 years now and is an
Mm.
awesome antagonist. But like he's excellent in that little moment there. Just they beat again, very physical. Any match with Mark Briscoe is very physical. I love how on commentary, even Don Callis was like, the remaining guys, left. Mark Briscoe kind of scares me for Kyle Fletcher because he's so unpredictable, and he was putting him over strong on commentary, and it made Briscoe's win at the end all the more cathartic because you still didn't think he had a chance because of how Fletcher was being booked. But he goes for the cutthroat driver. Both guys are down, but too long had elapsed by the time he tried to make the cover and Fletcher rolled to the outside. Uh, Briscoe goes up to the top. He gets a froggy bow to a standing Fletcher on the floor. Uh, Back of the ring, another froggy bow, kicks out. So that's like two finishes in a row, kind of, sort of ish, that he kicked out of. Then 1 minute left in the match, and Briscoe they go through this whole sequence where it looks like they may be going to a tie, but Briscoe eventually gets shoved into the referee, and Kyle looks like he's going to win by cheating again. Goes for the low blow like he did with Okada, but Mark Briscoe's smart. He saw the tape ahead of time. He learned from the other matches in the tournament. He scouted his opponent. He put himself over as a smart guy and a smart wrestler. He caught the low blow, hits him in the stomach, and then hits the J Driller for the 1, 2, 3 with maybe 20 seconds left in the match. And the crowd erupted. It was really, really good. And it probably, honestly, I think it was one of the best matches of the tournament was this match. Um, I don't know if it was the best yet. Well, we still have the rest of the tournament to go, but this was fantastic, classic stuff. People will be looking back at this because of how well they played into Mark Briscoe actually winning here when it
Mm.
didn't seem like it was going to happen at all. So the
Yeah.
magic of the round robin tournament, right?
Right.
Love it. I loved it. Uh but yeah, that's all I got for the hope spot. So let's bring it home. Let's go to the hot tag.
All right. Time for the hot tag.